the best of times, you walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself. This just ain't fair, so hard to bear. I'm not really sure these days, You walk me, you talk to me. Hard to bear, you walk.
Good morning. How are we all doing? Mads and Má conas the Talmud Scholar. Welcome back to Gaeilge Weekly. Foster Ashwig Gaeilge Weekly, and I'm very happy to be Sásta to be speaking with you again on episode number 94 of the show a bheith labhairt slatóiríocht agran iver an nócha chathair gen show. How are we all doing? Conas Talmud Scholar. As I'm recording this, I'm still in Ireland, agus mise ag tafadú in your Tommy Fos in Aaron, but probably by the time you're listening to this, chance ma ag an am will to éisteacht le seo, unless you're listening on Patreon, man will to éisteacht Patreon. I'll probably be back in Spain, or even in the air, in the flight, in between Dublin and Seville. Chance ma go mai me rash is Seville, no ar a liad, at least san etzels, ag dul of Lochlia go Seville. So yeah, nice to get back for a week, for 10 days. I know when I'm back, I'm always speaking about the same things. Thosaitheoirí nervima rash and Aaron agoni be make larts for the ruddy Céadaoin, and how every time I come back I enjoy it more. Gach a hagam rash be make buint ní small tathneavas and feeling more comfortable in Ireland all the time, you know, because I know that sounds weird when I'm from here. Thosaitheoirí gohfuil cuma aisteach sin mar is as Aaron me. But I think still in spending so much time of the year in one place in Spain, you know, cathal an maid sin ama den linn in Áitreamán sa Spáin, even come back to your home country, if you talk the rash to the here hain, it can be tricky at times. But yeah, really enjoyed my around 10 days back, or I've been back 9 days now to my rash. Well, ní lá anús, it's flown by, who say go handhappy fad. But yeah, looking forward at the same time to getting back to, so you know, I've done all the normal things here. It's in London already, and so I love being out running here because it's nice and quiet. You have so much space to go out and running, and outside of the city you see them of Egri, and so agus, you know, níl tú an sin a lorna cathraach agus talán spa sagat, as well as that chumhpháirtíocht sin to be going into the sea, those jacks and erga. I won't say swimming, nima hun ag snalver because it's not really swimming, in for 2 minutes and then straight back out. It's just or fa gone nomad agus jerk crash. And even just going to the different, you know, shops and cafes around the place, the small things like I spoke about on the podcast a few weeks ago. Mar a luí me an bud creile cúpla seachtain ó hin, just even going for a coffee, reading the paper, reading my book somewhere, ag leibh my leabhar nó an nuachtáin agus cafe ó ordú átaigh. And so yeah, just see my family and friends and everything else, and my clán eáil agus my hordsa eáil. So yeah, if you could ask, but I guess after traveling initially and now here, I'm looking forward to just being based back in one place for the next few months to make to do go more leva, just a rash in lots of one or an chéad cúpla mí eile. And I'm very grateful, and I know I'm really lucky tá sagam gohfuil an tá dearg Madra leis, you know, a bheith an dul átaigh and agus bheith an upper and sin to go somewhere and to be able to work there and to be able to move about and not have to book holidays from our work. Ní chaithí mé, you know, leichen to see chur an áirithe ó mo chuid ibre nó inrad mar sin. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to Seville tomorrow to make to do go more le dollar go Seville or Mork, and just to be in one place for next few months. mBéarla na mi mehiv chud geilid the Eibron freshen, you know, the rest of April and all of May, all of June, going to be in Seville, probably most of July as well. Chud smó to Viúl, and then try and escape by make January Éilú as Seville, or for a cúpla seachtain for a few weeks in August in mi lúnasa, just because it's going to be so freaking hot by se coche sin I mi lúnasa, around 40 degrees every day. Heart came Celsius gach law. Anyway, what news do I have? Just before I started, I always record these podcasts in order, so it'll only be ag tafadú na podcrailtí seo in order in a specific order, and that's the full version, then the ní simplí version, then the bhád ní simplí. Normally the first two on Monday to go ná an chéad dá cheann ar an luan agus an sin an ceann. So this one, the bilingual one, the BHFAD Níos Simplí one, an legan dá cheangach, an legan BHFAD Níos Simplí on Tuesday. March. So just before I hit record on the podcast yesterday, the full version, tíoch rah hosime on podcréile an Yé, no an legan umlans and podcréile, the full version of the podcast. I saw the news that the Pope had died. Honnig me an nucht grau on Papa Thresh boss all. By the time you're listening to this, that'll be old news. The world moves so fast now. Agus sibh sé géisteacht le seo by nuach sin soch shan. Kick of tappy sin a bhogan on down agus a bhogan on sale in the Wolmuts ag Markdal, how quickly the life for the world in which we live in moves. But yeah, sad, bronach, because I think for me must have been, I don't know the history of popes and what different popes did. Níl sagan madre leis an star agus na rudí difriúla or in the poppy difriúla tríd na blinta through the years, but must have been one of the popes with the most positive influence, and it did the most good and just did a fantastic job over the last 12 years, in my opinion. It said éisteacht sór le gnáthleagan egg anús in terms of sending the church in the right direction and bringing back what the churches and religion is meant to be about. Ag dul arascadí na rudí atá feabhas san English, acceptance, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you've done, there'll always be a place for you, there'll always be forgiveness, agus by trócra, there'll always be mercy for you, and so on. And I think he did that, and he did great work in trying to promote peace around the world from the Céadaoin, mBéarla, an tíocháin a chur chun cín, agus ag déanúireacht an tíocháin a chur chun cín freisin, and meeting with so many different leaders around the world and being so positive and being such a nice person, co darfach sin, agus co jazz sin le daoine, and obviously the visit she had on Ireland had a big impact as well here in 2018. Now tháinig sé an seo ag its hugtag hí tunker on the war on sin Lán daoine in Éireann, and I think a lot of people will remember that trip for the rest of their lives, or his trip rather here. Ceapan go mai Lán daoine chun chuimhnú sin go dó, an thuras a rinne sé an seo ag its hugtag. So sad, but at the same time, I guess when someone dies at that age, nuair ein duine ag an boss ag an is sin, it's sad, tá sé bronach ach ag nam céine, at the same time, what's really sad is when someone young dies, someone who has their full life ahead of them, when there's tragedy involved, and rud atá feabhrónach sin nuair ein duine óg boss, duine beidir lena sailor fad ó sa chóir, agus níl an seansach go an sail sin a Markdal, they don't have the chance to live out that life. That's what's really sad, sin an rud atá feabhrónach. So I think when someone else dies, especially someone who did such great work like the Pope, gohóirí had duine éigen ar an méid sin obair an méid sin obairítach cosúil leis an bápa, níos fearr chun céilúra a dhéanamh ar an saoil, agus bheith sásta better to kind of celebrate his life and to be happy about the brilliant things he did. And it's been really cool over the last day, even since the news came out. Tá sé fear cool dumpster aonos ar Instagram ag fécans ar daoine difriúil chur rudaí aníos ar na meán thosaíochta. Different people put in different things up on social media, talking about the different things, or bringing up different videos of him, or different things he might have said to people. Rudaí difriúil dúirt sé le daoine tríd na blinta. It's nice to see people kind of, I suppose, celebrating and remembering him for all the great things he did. So tá sé go deascúil daoine I chuimhnú ar mBéarla na rudí iontacha agus na rudí cool a rinne sé le gnáthleagan ag anús, and even before his time as Pope, because he's had an interesting life story. Tá scéal soch simú leige maidir lena hail. So yeah, I guess there'll be a lot of things going on over the next few weeks. Is dócha mai Alán rudí ar siúil na seachtainna seo between the funeral at the weekend on tucrads ag an tír seachtainna, as well as that chomhpháirtíocht sin. Of course, they'll have to appoint a new pope, by who Papa nua a cheapú freshen. So there'll be a lot of news, a lot of news reports coming out from Rome. I saw there in Spain they've announced 3 days of national mourning as well. So festivities are cancelled apparently, whatever that means. So caithfear na festivities agus na céilúirí agus imeachtaí difriúla caithfear de chur ceall. They have to be cancelled. I'm not sure is that going to affect me. I'll only be there for the, I think, 3rd day anyway of national mourning. But yeah, I suppose it shows again the respect that people had for him. Stocha get that spawn sin an mass a bhí ag daoine Anyway, enough about the Pope. What else do I have written down here on my rough plan for the podcast? Cadaile atá scríofa síos so air on rough plan done. Fud Craile, yeah, as I said, looking forward to going back, looking forward to just being based somewhere for next few months and not have to worry about bringing my bag with me or checking for this place. Gan a bheith bortha faoi ó caith mé check-in líanú ag an áit seo agus mBéarla, Horchlum, and then train or this bus or staying in this place for this night and then go and meeting this friends ag fannach san áit seo an ihe seo and sin ag bula le chara eile and so on agus mar singe. So that'll be nice for sure. Just looking up, speaking about Dublin Airport, I know many a time I've brought up Dublin Airport when I've been back home. It's or around me Glárts faoi airport vlog clia. River seo nar bhí mé an son éireann agus ag tafaidú an podcast. I am going to Dublin Airport tomorrow. Anybody, any long-term listeners, you probably don't even need to be a long-term listener. Ní caiithú that ag éisteacht le anfada really to know that I don't like Dublin Airport. It's probably my least favourite airport in Europe. Bologna was a pretty bad airport as well when I was there a month ago. On Terfort and St. Bologna, bhí sé socht donna, caiim refreshing. Manchester is up there, Manchester Terminal 3 as well, a terrible airport. Agus Creekfort, Uafásach. Probably Dublin's still the worst I've been to though. Fós an ceannas massa in around my gach show as Dublin Airport. But I've realised it's Terminal 1 that annoys me. Creekfort Ain, Shin on Creekfort, Churn Armsa. Like if I'm in Terminal 2, it's not too bad. And especially if it's on a late flight or an early flight. So in other words, really, if you're willing to pay a bit, then the experience isn't too bad. Matatu Sasta, no, Obta. Instead of getting a Ryanair Terminal 1 and 6 a.m. flight not Creekfort Ahin, Usagic a shot the Clogger Mads in the Ryanair. If you can get, as I'm getting tomorrow now, I don't normally get this, but I got a good deal on it. It was cheap for whatever reason. Visha Soch Sear and Sagum can't fall, maybe because it's the end of the holidays. Most people are coming back the other way. I'll chud smó dhaoine that they chat the rash on Zorwella coming back from Seville after holidays to come back home to Ireland. Hun Soch the Moille Caheran. But it was on like €70 or something, €70, which is good for Aer Lingus. That's, again, reading between the lines, Terminal 2, you have to go with Aer Lingus or Delta or whoever across to the States, Ceisteanna, and Céadaoin. I find it funny. I'll see it tomorrow in real life. To my hun Ecall Saphir Hill. I'll mark for people who don't know Dublin Airport well. Dini Nachwell Moran, Bidzer, Arola Saku Madzer, Le Airport Vlog Basically the way it works is Terminal 1 is all the European flights except Aer Lingus, pretty much, this roughly, and then Terminal 2, Creekfort the Dole, is all the American flights plus any Aer Lingus flights, which would obviously be a lot of European flights and American flights. So in the Hitzelsea Dole America, it's in the Céadaoin, Creekfort the Dole, agus and in the Hitzelsea Aer Lingus. So it's funny, I saw a TikTok and I realised I'd seen this before but hadn't kind of thought about it. If you go to Terminal 2 in Dublin Airport, my hand plus a good Creekfort a Dole in Airport Vlog there's so many American flags, and obviously you have pre-clearance, stop pre-clearance ad. So it'll say American pre-clearance this way, and there'll be a big American flag with a really clear arrow pointing a direction. Agus arrow on the war and throws in, American pre-clearance, Caitheadul and so. And then like 10 metres later, a few nice loo, even less, like 10 metre in Yishin, there'll be another massive American flag saying pre-clearance this way, another one, and people were kind of making fun of it on TikTok saying it's just to really make sure the Americans don't get lost, and really, really make sure there's no issues with the Americans going through Dublin Airport, which is obviously loads of Americans listen to the show. Alan, Americana, Gaeilge the question show, so I'm not saying you guys can't follow directions or anything, but they must have had issues in the past or something gone out the Feabhas Beidir River show with people not being able to find pre-clearance or not be able to get to the gates for the American flights. Dini Nachwell Lobelta Beidir Shreku and Nachrao Lobelta Shreku Gatti line na Hitzelsea Stocha could see na start. I thought that was funny. I'm going to keep an eye out for it again tomorrow. So, what else? Dublin Airport as well. Airport Vlog not to be going too down the rabbit hole. I'm changing my opinion on it bit by bit. My cabhrú piece about. I'll probably have an awful experience at security again tomorrow. Shansma, go my taithí uafásach an mark arís ag na gataí slán dála. A swab check every single bag. Didn't she'd swab check or beag nach gach illa mála. I'm like, why in the world? This is not that. I suppose, listen, you can't give out about it. You've had to let Garen fight because the thing is they're doing it for your safety, and because they do that, then it's way less likely there's going to be an issue on the plane, which is obviously way, way worse. So the big shit in the wadney smassa, they'll make feabhas ar an echelon. So, losing 5 minutes at security, but the way they speak to you as well, and chuid vín siad ag láir slatach, we won't get into it. Now is not the time. English and Tom Carrot, Hun Lart, Fuishaw, and as I've kind of mentioned before, I think I did a full bonus episode over on Patreon. Captain Gnáthleagan, my episodes of Fresh Umlan Patreon an last year on Dublin Airport and my feelings about it in Airport Vloglia agus an chuid a bhím ag mothú chuid. Would you like a PDF list of all the most complicated and most challenging words used in this exact podcast episode? Well, now you can get it, as it's just yet another benefit of becoming a member at Learn Irish Online. As well as all the previous benefits, access to all the different video and podcast shows we make to help people learn Irish in an easier, simpler and more fun way. Éisteacht, leanúint, ag topic breakdown, butú no go, as well as Gaeilge Weekly benefits, bonus episodes once a month, early access, the episodes come out on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, ad-free access as well. You now also get, with every single episode of Gaeilge Weekly, a PDF with a list of about 15 or 20 of the most complicated and challenging words used in that exact episode. You can sign up today for a free trial to check it out for a week on patreon.com/learnirishonline. And if you think it's for you, it only costs €7 a month afterwards. It is the best place online to strengthen your Irish, to get rid of a lot of the hassle and complications so often associated with the language. You can sign up today at patreon.com/learnirishonline. Any questions or queries, email me at liam.learnirishonline@gmail.com. Back to the podcast. But another thing I saw, actually, again, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm on, Instagram, so I'd be going through the reels, so it's the same thing. So liam TikTok, I'm here Instagram, right, so just be make dull treach. The reels, so feckin' to ruddy cane, you see the same things as you'd be seeing, I guess, over on TikTok for the most part in chuid's mum. But I saw one there that was interesting, and it was talking about going to the lounge in Dublin Airport. How to make y'all and sin. Agus vi sé simul vi sé glárts fui dulg an lounge on sin ag Airport Vloglia. And you might be thinking, the lounge, that you're probably thinking I've gone really bougie. Terminal 2, Lingus. Now I'm talking about even going to the lounge. Crickfort the Doe, Lingus few to make large and ish we dulg and lounge. But genuinely, I'm not doing it tomorrow, and I'm not gonna do it anytime soon. Limi hun ale mark. But I was thinking as well, Dublin, really expensive city. Airport, most expensive place probably in the city. No, in the county, let's say. Shachas Beit or Temple Bar. Apart from Temple Bar, Airport Vloglia, shall not is custody. Tíomh muid to Temple Bar gon le Vloglia. So it's like, you're surely paying €60 or €70 to do anything in the lounge. Thought we íoch better €60 or €70 honain ruddy, so lounge. But I was amazed. Now maybe I'm not reading this right. Bates not me leave on rud so Mars Gart. But seemingly you can pay €29. It's very flat. €9 is fiche a íoch. Agus tintus shock so lounge. So, of course, you're in a bit of a nicer place. It's a bit calmer. It's Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, I think. Crickfort agus Crickfort the Low. So, it's very flat all shock. Agus, nís ciúna, agus bugni nís comforty freshen. So, a bit quieter and a bit more comfortable as well. Nicer seats and all that. So, you can nís jesha agus gachard marshin. And for €29, you get a meal. And a full meal, proper meal. You can Irish fry or whatever. Total on breakfast, the air on the call, no inroad marshin. I think you get to take a few snacks with you. To go to bring with you on the plane is fetch out a couple of snack a hort lat agus a hógáil as an lounge an hort lat an etchulch. As well as that, you get two alcoholic drinks of your choice. So it's gof yunta really in my if I was doing it, they'll mean ag dain on road shop. So you give it for 2 pints of Guinness, 2 pints of Carlsberg or whatever, or 2 glasses of wine, whatever you're into, go Glenafine. No payroll, the will sim on it, whatever you might be interested in. And it's only €29. Think, well, if you go into Dublin, you got a meal and 2 pints. Like, my hand tussa, go Lachlia, like Lorna Carrick, no few things, so the Rathmines, Rahini Shin, Limnock, Cadena Chella, Rathmines, Agus, Rathfarnham, Takiana Lanshin, Beidir rahini an tamnatar kaith me is sin alaric. I have to look that up now on maps at the same time. Alam Cana. But if you go whatever, somewhere in Dublin, Mahin plus Áteig and Lachlia, a meal and 2 pints will be more than 30 quid. Tá tú honich ní smó, no beidir dirk hart there, circa euro, maybe exactly around kind of €30 for that. So to be able to get that at the airport before a flight, you know, a place that is notoriously expensive, also will clue agus call there, chustasach. I thought that was pretty good, but maybe there's a catch there. Maybe I've not read it completely right, but I don't know. It's something to try in the future. I think if you had to be because of your bus Mayal or Mus, if you had to be that Ranelagh, that's the name, Ranelagh and Rathmines, the places in Dublin where a few of my friends live. Tá cúpla some chordsa in the Gcónaí and sin in Lachlia. But yeah, if you were there like 2 or 3 hours before your flight, gone through your riv, Detselt, and you have nothing to do, and you maybe because of your schedule of your bus or whatever, Mayala and Mus, no with Martin, you hadn't eaten, it wouldn't be too bad. So Dublin Airport has these few secret spots. I'm not saying I'm becoming advocate now of Dublin airports. The Mirgara Goldmere Sun Airport Laglia. But, you know, there are a few things. There's the Clock House pub or the Clock Tower pub. It's kind of a hidden pub in Terminal 1. If you know how to get there, you know how to get there. If you don't, you don't. I'm a little sad. You'll can't quite recu ar an áit. Nil sad, agus nil to hun fall amach. You're not going to find out. Only those who know. People talk about people to talk about the smoking area and say the smoking area is great there. I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes when I'm in Dublin Airport. They've been misha cough at the back, agus misha in Orford Flochlea, but they say it's one of the best places in Ireland. It's guaranteed to go to Marchans and the Hots and the Isfar in Éireann. So who knows? Maybe I've been giving Dublin Airport a bad rep. Maybe I'm the problem. Bits are great miss on live down. But yeah, I'll be there again tomorrow, so I'll give you my update next week. Anyway, in terms of how it went, any more events as there normally is in Dublin Airport. And yeah, what else? There's not been too much more else going on. I've been watching the snooker. The Mike Fakins are in snooker called Ma, and I've never really been too into snooker before now. And you remember really Rochafa, Lesh and snooker, River Show. I suppose like a lot of Irish lads, Casula Lan, lads, Ernacha. Be make Quinal Seuss, Lesh. I kind of keep up with it and keep up with a lot of different sports, just enough to, you know, to hold a conversation about it, I guess. And I hold kind of stuff like that good in my brain in terms of different winners from different years and whoever. I kind of know through social media as well, and I thought wearing the Miano shield, it's impossible to avoid. If something happens, something big happens in a sport, not Harleen Rudig and more a sport day, and it's kind of tricky not to hear about it if you're scrolling through Instagram for a few hours a day. Well, I thought to scroll all through Instagram for a couple of hours in I on lay. And well, I'd love to joke. I was going to joke and say, don't worry, I don't spend a few hours on Instagram, but if I looked at my screen time usage on the settings, most really grab my home fans here on settings, like a screen time, like really martin, maybe it would be that high chance to make sure cove more shin, like covered shin. But yeah, the snooker, I've gotten into it kind of through Ronnie O'Sullivan. Saw just treat Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think like a lot of people, so Lalondini. He'll actually probably just be finishing as this podcast comes out. Chance mag my session a creek new achleha nor hagen on Pudcurla Show amach Morach, and it'll actually just be starting a few hours after I finish recording by Sheikh Tosu Kupla or Dirk Thereshtum on Pudcurla Show creek new. But like I've said before on the podcast, Mar Ramay Glarts fi Riversaw air and Budcurla, I get really interested in like specific people from the world of sport or the world of politics or whatever. Aon with some bolidíocht, no sport, no few comedy, no aon martin, and listen to kind of every, or music probably even more so, Kjol, Beitrini Small, not Aon Rodella. And I'll just get really into kind of them in terms of I listen to all the podcasts they've done, any documentaries about them, in Clorna Foshnation, Fuhu, no, the Pudcrailty at the Jane Talkub, or even listen to different interviews they've done on YouTube. Na Hagliv Tifrola, Tá Jane Talkub, or YouTube, or if they've written a book, I'll buy their book. So I think I was speaking about Ronan Nagara recently, Captain Graham Larts for Ronan Nagara, Ella Daney, I that with him, or other people I've had it with, Tommy Tiernan, or Noel Gallagher, Liam Gallagher to some extent, Mike Skinner from the Streets, Jizzy Rascal. Daoine difriúla, Daoine agsúla, Daoine says randomacha. So different people, varied people, kind of random people in some ways, but people who I just find I like what they have to say is matlam cadatá le rá acu, and I suppose the kind of outlook or perspective they have on life is tóg an mion ó an dearca atá acu on sale. And Ronnie O'Sullivan's definitely one of those people, big time. Gandoush, Sir Ronnie Sullivan, Kians and Dini Shin, Gandoush, Kid Fun Made. I watched his documentary, I've read his book, I'm reading it for a second time now. Don my Glaive and Laura Shin, Don Dara or Anish. I just find him really interesting. Personally, a few things he speaks about I can kind of relate to. Is tóg agus tegum, neart in a ruddy, no couplets in a ruddy, arenos a bhín session ag lauert fui. So, yeah, I suppose through him I've kind of got into the snooker, and the World Championships is on now, so that's why I'm watching it. On the World Championships are sure. If it was anything else, even the Masters, I probably wouldn't be watching. Most where they go make the Masters are sure. Captain Nivain ag féchans here. But it's cool. I know people look at sports like that, and even someone was talking to me yesterday about Formula 1. There's the weekly Formula 1 reference for you. If you didn't ag Larts, for Formula 1 and yeah, sin an tagart sachtanal wig on F1, and you're saying it's so boring, how can you get into that? Tá sé cool drama kinkly ó simagat. But I think what makes a big difference is if you understand the personalities, if you kind of know the drivers, or in snooker's case the players, but the atnagat na tmánithe, no sa snooker na himrory, it kind of makes it more exciting because, let's say F1 for example, if I see a Red Bull overtaking McLaren, that doesn't mean anything to me if I don't know the drivers. So my Red Bull ag overtake McLaren, the Keelan sa sin tada, dumsa, in einer. Ach, but the atnagam na tmánithe, if I know the drivers, and I know, that's Verstappen, he's been in for this many years, he's won this amount of championships, sin Verstappen agus tá méid crave sin boots ega agus hosi sé I gavils the shades egg le Toro Rosso. We started with Toro Rosso in 2016 and so on agus mar sinja. And I know in the McLaren it's an ours and the history they have against the star atá atharhu, the kind of history between them, I guess. Then it's much more exciting. Tá sé bhád níos spragúla mar sin. So it's same with the snooker. You'll find out, okay, that's Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's playing Ali Carter, they've had a bit of a history, and Ronnie's never won this, or Ali's never beaten him at this tournament or whatever. Then that makes a difference. General sin difriúcht, and I think with those sports, when it's not that exciting on paper in terms of the actual sport itself, compared to, let's say, hurling, where there's something happening every minute and it's fast and it's exciting, on the máneocht agus tá sé, bín sé papi agus bín lán rudí súl gach nóid the lán rudí ag tarlú and tamar fad all the time, a lot of things happening. Then I think you need to get invested in a few of the players or the story or the history behind it. Couplets in a himrory, no better on star, ag bunch lesh, anything like that. So, in rud cosúla sin. So yeah, I think because of that, Ronnie's kind of got me into the snooker, and I'm starting to get to know some of the other players. And again, once the World Championships finish, maybe even after Ronnie gets knocked out, if he does get knocked out, must rather not moon say al crave if he doesn't win the championship, which he's got a chance to, but he's got a very tough first round draw or first round game. Tuckle on a Dakariga sa Céadaoin. But if he can win that, it won't be a crazy difficult route to the final. Matashin an é sin a bhuachans ní bhaid stocha slí, fíorheachar nó duchreid a dachar ag a hun trecu an gluthe ceannis. But we'll see as we go on. And it's, yeah, I think even with those sports, even when it's only one big thing happening, maybe once every 5 or 10 minutes, beds are ní bhíon aon rud an a war, no an a spargal or turlu ach beds or orwan gach cuaig nóid, gach 10 nóid. But then when it does happen, it means a lot more than just someone scoring a point in basketball or hurling or something. Tá sé bhád níos tábhairtí ná duine éigean an sin just ag fáil pointse san amáníocht nó gisfeil mar hampla nó aon rud mar sin. So I'm beginning to like those sports. Maybe I'm just getting old. Speidir to school me ní sin. I'd love to play a bit of snooker, but I know that's such an Irish thing. It's rud có éireannach é sin. Like when Wimbledon is on, everybody's saying, oh, let's go play some tennis. There have been Wimbledon or siúil there in gach dana, like Rocky Mud some beagnaí ladog immert when the Masters was on last week. I guarantee you there were loads of green fees being paid around the country and then people won't pick up a club for the rest of the summer. Ní hun club of fiosrúcháin the chuid eile then sour. I suppose that's normal when you're watching and that's cool, you know, that what these guys are doing on telly, or if you've been going to the games and seeing them in real life, you might thought ag dul seen the clicky and on the himachtaí the events agus ag féchans na lads show and on the colony show so fear hail in real life, that it's inspiring people to do something. You know, even I was inspired more at work last week after watching Rory McIlroy win the Masters. Bhí níos mó spragu agamsa ag an obair an tachtan scatsa tar éis a bheith féchans Rory McIlroy ag the Masters. So I thought, wow, what a story. What a story. McIlroy winning the Masters. So it's funny, I guess, that's your grand verb. Cool at the same time. That's a cool that's something like that, you know, a guy just hitting a club or a ball with a club over on the other side of the Atlantic, that can inspire me. Gwil to sin in on spragu o huirtdom on something like helping people to learn Irish rud cosúil le Carol Ladini hun an Gaeilge Olam. But yeah, that is about it for this week, guys. Capum sin gachrut on Sacht show. Big thank you as always for listening. Mille buchas Mars Connacht. As a bheith ag éisteacht, always very grateful for the support. I gcónaí fear week as an Gnáthleagan. And as always, we'll be back next Wednesday at the usual time, 4 o'clock Irish time zone by Mr. Ash. Ag an gná an carchlog on the Heron on Sacht seo hugan. Big thank you for listening. Mille buchas as a bheith ag éisteacht. Goodbye, God bless, slán agus bant.
What must I turn around?